After a 5-year wait, it is almost certain that the next Animal Crossing game will be released this year. So today we're going to discuss the much anticipated gameplay features which are expected to be a part of the next Animal Crossing game. I've spent the past month researching to find the most requested Animal Crossing 6 features. So let's discuss the 25 most popular requests, starting with the shopping strip. Since the very first Animal Crossing game back on the GameCube, in-game shops have been an integral part of the series by giving players something to spend their bells on. This has of course evolved across the games, where Animal Crossing City Folk had its own city dedicated to just the shops, and Animal Crossing New Leaf got the much beloved Main Street, which, in my uneducated opinion, was the greatest version of the shopping strip. We had to wait until the 2.0 update in New Horizons to even see a separate shopping island, and it was not all it was cracked out to be. Sure, we got a couple camper vans and some new NPCs, but the shops had zero upgrades and low-key sucked. So in the next Animal Crossing game, I would love to see a brand new shopping strip just like the one that was in New Leaf. I think like in New Horizons, we should have Nook's Cranny and Able Sisters on the main island. Oh my god, and bring back the Roost as a standalone building, please. But the rest of the shops should be on their own separate island or strip or city. And what shops would I like to see? Gracie's is an absolute must. Her high-end prices would give players something to work towards in the late game, which is something New Horizons is absolutely lacking, because now I have all these bells and I have no idea what to do with them. There should be a new set of clothes and furniture every week, meaning 52 total, and each item should cost upwards of 500,000 bells. We also need to see the return of the post office. New Horizons felt so hollow without the Pelly P and Phyllis love triangle. I mean, how did the devs replace 3 beloved birds with a postcard stand? Bring back Harriet and Shampoodle, because yes, she did have a role in New Horizons, but you could only use her a couple times and then never again. I'd like for her to be a permanent NPC in the game where you can constantly change your hairstyles with her. Maybe even makeup if that's something they'd like to introduce. Leaf and Kix also need to have their standalone stores back because the vans just aren't enough. And of course, every single store on the strip has got to have upgrades. It was way too easy to upgrade Nook's Cranny in this game, and after it was upgraded, you really had nothing left to do. There were 5. Yes. 5 upgrades for Nook's Cranny in Animal Crossing New Leaf, and every single shop on Main Street had multiple upgrades, so please bring back the upgrades. It's so good for progression and it will keep players playing the game for longer. I'd also like to see seasonal events brought into Main Street. You know how KK Slider performs on your island on a Saturday? Imagine if once a week there was some kind of performance or just anything going on in Main Street. I'd love to see the street dressed up in lights for Christmas, and maybe even some in-game events like Lunar New Year held on Main Street rather than the main island. We'll get into this more a little later in the video. On the topic of shopping, a much needed feature in the game is some kind of online marketplace. With New Horizons, anytime we wanted fruit or furniture that we couldn't naturally obtain on our own islands, we had to use third-party sites like Nookazon to find people, which yes, it was fun, but it was hella annoying and could be so time-consuming. Now imagine there was a separate island you could visit in the game where players could set up their own stores to sell their own items. You could interact to make friends, invite them to your island. It would actually give the game's online play some content. On the topic of online play, some other much needed features include Tortimer's Island, which, for those of you that don't know, was a multiplayer island in New Leaf that allowed you to challenge your friends or strangers online to mini-games. It was such a great way to make friends and meet people within the community, and it introduced a whole separate economy into the game. Each time you'd win a game, you'd collect medals, which you could then go and spend on Captain's main island. And guys, he had a whole family in the game which was just completely exiled come New Horizons. Bring his family back and bring back Tortimer's Island. I'd also love to see some kind of co-op design features where players can invite their friends to design their islands alongside them. I used to love spending late nights in the summer helping my online friends design their Animal Crossing islands, but it sucked because the absolute most I could do was design their flowers for them. Let us plant trees and place furniture and use their custom designs. It feels like such an obvious oversight. Moving into some miscellaneous features, multiple islands on one Switch, an absolute no-brainer. Look, I understand why this isn't a thing because, you know, Nintendo's money hungry, and if they can get people to buy a second console and a second copy of the game, then you know damn well that's what they're gonna do. But being able to create a second island would make the game so much more accessible for people like me who can't afford to do all that and are way too sentimental to reset their island. Or if you're not gonna allow 2 islands on one Switch, then at least let us sell the islands like we could in New Leaf. We also desperately need some new fruit and vegetables in the game. To have been on an island and not have mangoes and lychees and bananas, like, Are you serious right now? What an oversight. I don't have a modded Switch, but I'm absolutely obsessed with these lemon trees, and why they're not a thing, I have no idea. Genuinely. We simply need a wider selection. And the vegetables are pretty lacking as well. Even the shrubs are heavily lacking in this game. I'd love to be able to go and pick some fresh blueberries off my bush to go cook with later. Some of these fruits could even be seasonal. For example, mangoes may only grow in the summertime, which will make them rare, and you could use them to craft exclusive furniture and cook special recipes. On the topic of more flowers. 8 different species is simply not enough. I need 16. I found it way too easy to breed all the colors, and I think having more flowers would mean, of course, more breeding, longer playtime, and more variety to make the islands unique. And again, seasonal flowers. I want clovers to grow during the month of March and have the chance of finding a 4-leaf clover which will give you good luck for the day. I'd love to see Pancetas to deck out the island during December. And I want to open my mailbox and see carnations on Mother's Day. Yup, another new leaf feature that wasn't brought back. And since we're still talking about more, we already have cherry blossom season, but it's just so short and so beloved, so I want jacaranda season. Jacarandas are these gorgeous purple trees that bloom during the month of November. And here in Australia, we have full festivals dedicated to them. I'd also like to see different kinds of palm trees. We already have the normal ones, but we're the Californian ones, you get me? The normal ones could grow coconuts, the Californian ones could grow bananas, and oh my gosh, water plants. I don't understand how they're not a thing yet. Kind of like how plants can grow out of the water in the museum. We need this happening in the rivers. I mean, at the very least, give us some lily pads. I want to see the cookie seal getting an absolute overhaul in the next game. When they introduced it to New Horizons, it was kind of fun for maybe the first week, but then it just lost its purpose. There was really no point or incentive to cooking. To make it more interesting, there could actually be skill involved. There could be a level up system where recipes are locked away until you reach that specific level. It would make being able to cook lobster, for instance, an absolute flex. And if villagers were able to request certain meals that they want us to make for them, the feature would become so much more interesting. There could even be a grocery store with new NPCs on Main Street where you can buy ingredients to cook specific meals. And kind of like how Nook's Cranny has the daily hot item, there could be a daily hot recipe which could sell for a lot of bells, incentivizing people to cook more. We need new jobs in this game. From GameCube to City Folk, you actually started Animal Crossing by working for Tom Nook in Nook's Cranny. Then in New Leaf, you could work for Brewster in his cafe. But they kind of killed off the feature for New Horizons. I want to be able to apply for jobs within the game, whether it be helping Leaf in his plant store for a day, stocking the shelves in the grocery store, or even helping Brewster make coffee. It's such a simple feature that would add so much life to the game. A sea creature tourney. There's already the fishing tourney and the bug off, but we need something for the sea creatures because you can't get models made for them and you can never sell them for more bells. So basically what I'm saying is bring Pascal out more than once a day. And as for the villagers, more lore and more dialogue. Animal Crossing used to have so much NPC lore intertwined into every single villager, but in this game they're just so bland and I don't understand why. The only character that had some lore was Sable, and that's why everybody loves her. They need to bring back the episode system like what existed in Wild World. And as for the villagers, please just fix them. They're so boring. They need to be meaner, they need to have a better personality, actually have feelings, and have days when they're pissed off and days when they're happy. Right now they just literally feel like another decoration on the island. Even little things like allowing them to place their houses wherever they want like they always used to be able to, or leaving the island without permission from the player. All these things will provide so much more depth to the game. Finally, I'd like to go over some of the quality of life features everybody has been begging for. Being able to add clothes to cart at the Able Sisters. It feels like such a no-brainer. I hate having to go in and out of the fitting room 10 times just to get the color of the clothes I actually want. There are some items in this game which I do need every color of, so allowing players to buy them all in one go would make life so much easier. Bulk crafting. Don't even get me started on how much I hate having to craft fishing bait. They could even make it that the more things you craft, the longer you have to wait for that little animation to be over, instead of having to go in and click craft 30 separate times just to get a bunch of sea bass instead of the mahi mahi I'm still trying to get 5 years later. More so, please get rid of the sea bass. No, I'm kidding, it's too iconic. Allow players to move about the island while visitors are coming. I understand that there needs to be a whole loading sequence, but waiting like 2 minutes for someone to get to my island in 2025 is diabolical. At this point, Nintendo is just playing with us because they had better technology in 2008 than they do now. If there are any quality of life or other features you guys would like to see in Animal Crossing 6, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!